Feel good to be back doing another Worlds?
It was awesome, man.
Yeah.
It was, it kind of gives me this at a loss for words feeling. I don't know how to explain.
Well, I mean, for sure, during that dark bit, like, I mean, there's no doubt that you have enough time to be like, okay, so that's done. And probably make a little bit of peace with, like, so that time of life of doing those things is done.
Well, there was always... And I keep going back to this. I got a little guy that's in the back of my head here that talks to me, takes notes about what Travis out here is doing. And in the back of my mind, that little guy, there was always this 100% certainty that I was going back.
Hell yeah.
It was a small, tiny little voice at sometimes, like this little pinprick of light in the darkness. It was... I'd almost given up hope several times. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
But it just, he was always kind of taking notes, and like I was going through that whole experience to come out the other side with something big. It was, there was a lot of people that were definitely in my head and in my ear saying, oh, you'll never go back. You'll never do this. You'll never do that. And that's,
people don't know, dude.
Well, that's that misery loves company. They were other people who were at the bottom in their life. And when they see you try to rise up and become something better, that puts pressure on them.
Well, because it exposes their shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People get really weird about that, man. It's a weird idea that success or happiness is a scarcity commodity to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And to see someone come out of it, man, it's tough for people in it. Who are in the darkness.
That misery loves company, and it's that relationship like a codependency almost. Don't call me on my bullshit. I won't call you on your bullshit. We'll both stay down here in the muck, and you rise up and it pisses them off. And
well, I mean, how many stories you hear of addicts who find other addicts and then they just dwell in it.
That's exactly
together,
it.
Right?
That's codependency. That's very unhealthy. It's very
to divorced people, to depression. People that lose kids. Any of this, they find someone with that same void to fill.
And in those cases, it can be a good thing to find somebody who, understands you on a level that other people outside of that.
The addiction part gets tricky of it.
Yeah, because you're bringing each other down.
Yeah.
But, to go back to 2011, 2012, when things started getting really out of hand and really shitty, I always start my story with, do you remember the worst moment of your life? Do you remember the worst day you ever had?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah, I got it.
So there's some people that don't.
Yeah, I got it.
And it's a powerful feeling, isn't it?
No, mine was realizing I'm going to get a divorce.
That was the worst one.
Yeah, so far, man. Like the sports and all that type of stuff was fun. It's fine. And getting hurt and all that. And mine was a really slow transition into like chronic pain. And then it was get rid of that and the sport didn't matter anymore. The realizing that relationship after 13 years was done, that was really tough. It was really tough to have that conversation. But superpower that comes with it is I can have hard conversations.
Well, that's kind of what you realize when you face some serious adversity. Like for me, I know I'm tough to kill.
Fucking hard to kill, man.
Really hard to kill.
Yeah.
My worst moment in my life came after, my wife and I kind of splitting apart. We really grew apart. My addiction was, I was stuck on painkillers, fully stuck. And then a couple months before this moment, let's say during the summer of 2012, she went for about 6 weeks to England, her and my son, and she went to go see her parents. And during that time, I was kind of left to my own devices. And at that point, I couldn't stand training. No, I'd already gone through over a year of having this broken ankle that I was trying to compete on. And in the Arnold 2012, I had torn just a little bit of my quad a week before. So I had to compete with yet another injury that was, frustrating. Frustration built up, and I'm like, fuck this. I'm done. I don't want to compete anymore. So, like we talked about earlier, where you've got that huge chunk of your life that you now have a void in. And stupid shit is what fills that void.
Stupid shit fills it quick, man.
Really easy.
Hot damn does it.
For me, that was an ex-girlfriend had contacted me. We'd talked back and forth a little bit, and she had gotten into crystal meth.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So for years, she had been kind of on that, selling it, stuff like that. And she offered to send some to me. You know, she wasn't living in Houston. She was a few hours outside of town. So she overnighted some. I'm home alone.
Sure.
Fuck it. Yeah. You know, let's party. All right. And so I started out smoking it, and then quickly, because I was left to my own devices, and I had all these extra needles.
Yeah, of course.
In my house. I think I'd actually just started trying peptides, so I had insulin syringes.
Okay, so you got insulin
So
pens.
yeah, that's why I had them. So I've got these insulin syringes, and I'm looking online, trying to figure out how to mix things up and shoot it.
Do you have a moment there where you're like, what are we doing?
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse, man. I'd gotten the crystal from her and then a little bit of coke from a friend of mine. And I'm like, well, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
So I mix it up. I go on this website, and it's like, do this, don't do that, do this. I'm like, done. I got it loaded, ready. I take my phone, I put it on my lap, I open it, I dial 911.
Just ready to go.
Just ready to go. Exactly.
Oh my God.
And it kind of occurs to me, I'm like, Travis,
What the fuck are we doing? We've done some dumb shit in our lives, and we've never had to do this.
Exactly. Oh my God, man. You know, but I went for it anyway, and that's when the wheels kind of came off, and
new door.
Yeah, descent into madness quickly.
How I don't have a lot of experience with, I guess, with amphetamines. I mean, I don't even have enough experience with cocaine to tell you much about it. Other than I don't think it's a great fit for my personality. Other than I know that much.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't think it would benefit me. So I mean, was that just an immediate change, and so is it painkillers still? Is that that's just
still
a constant?
on painkillers at that time. One of the things that I noticed during that time was if I was high on meth, I didn't need them.
Oh.
And I thought to myself for a brief moment,
We have cured our opiate issues.
Exactly it, man. I can kick this one. I finally got this monkey off my back. I don't need these. I can get over this anytime.
Right.
Well, that line of thinking led me to, another 4 years of hell.
Wow.
So anyway, that 6 weeks was up, and we're looking at, towards the end of the year.
So she's still just been sending stuff now?
Well, I didn't use any of that when my wife had gotten home.
Okay,
so
you enjoyed it for 6 weeks,
yeah.
and then tried to not do it?
Had a hankering. Like, this is something I want to keep doing.
When do you leave town again?
It's exactly. I remember thinking shit like that too, man.
So are you doing? Do you notice you're doing shit at that point? Like, are you picking fights to get alone time?
No, but I would just kind of take alone time.
Yeah.
And here and there, wherever I could, I would find a way to sneak away and do that. I would say it wasn't, so much that it was interfering any more or less with my life
at that point.
But I mean, if I'm 100% honest, any amount is interfering with your life.
Well, sure. And you're already in a rough spot. It wasn't like this was a drastic left turn for what was going on.
Yeah. We were already on rocky terrain.
Yeah.
So, our relationship held on a little bit, at least as far as I thought it was holding on. We came to a point where we were going to move to England. She was taking my son over first to get a house, find a place, because we had just gotten a settlement from a car accident, so she was going to buy a house.
Okay.
So she went, and this leads me to the worst moment of my entire life, and it was November 25th, 2012. And that's the day that I took them to the airport. And that guy in the back of my head, that little intuition was screaming, red flags, stop, no, this is wrong, it's bad, terrible idea. Whatever you got to do, stop the car, turn around. But Travis out here was like, no, it's going to be fine, man. I trust her. So dropping them off at the airport, and I can still see it clear as day. I'm getting their suitcases out, and I give my son a hug. He's 3 years and 3 weeks old at this point. And he's got his little Cars hat and his Cars backpack on. And he's excited as hell because he's on an adventure. He can't wait to go.
Yeah.
And I just see it in her face, what's really going on, but I'm trying to ignore it. And, I remember giving him that last little hug. He just feeling that tiny little 3-year-old boy body, and his little smooth skin up against my face. And then they turned around and walked through the doors into the airport. And that moment shattered my heart. And I have this scar across it. I could still feel it now. It is so deeply ingrained that, it's a pain that you don't ever forget. But I've learned to be grateful for it because it makes all the other pain in my life less significant. I've increased my threshold for great experiences and horrific experiences.
You don't often get one without the other.
There's
night and day.
Seems like there's always balance, right?
Yeah.
So that moment, I was driving home after that. And I remember thinking, you know what? This hurts so bad. Travis, just go get fucked up for a week.
They're gone.
And I know that she's not really planning on me joining them anytime soon. I'm still trying to rationalize it. I'm still thinking I'm selling the house and
Yeah.
So,
she's just done what needed to be done to get over.
Out. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
she's aware of what she's dealing with at this point.
I think not fully, but enough.
Enough that she knows something's up. She knows something's being hidden, and she knows she's not being communicated with.
Yeah. So, she did what she had to do, and I still feel like she went about it kind of shitty, but what do you do? You got a 3-year-old kid, and you're not in your country, and No,
and look, man, I think it's the empathy of that too is like so few people are given a rule book or guidebook on how to handle really hard situations, and I think trying to do the best you can and empathy, right? Like that's been a big one that I've got to work on. And, with you even already being someone that's accountable, being like, I fucked this up, that's how it goes. She's dealing with a drug addicted, really big guy. She doesn't know what the fucking answer is.
Yeah.
And right or wrong, best decision, worst decision, who fucking knows at that time, dude? It's a lot to deal with for anyone.
It's what happens. Right or wrong doesn't really matter. It is what it is. And at that point, I wish that later on she had been, I wish she would, answer the phone so I could talk to my son. I wish I could see pictures of him, and she's kind of cut things off, and it made it impossible to have a relationship with him because everything I send over gets sent back, so I know that they moved.
Right.
And I can't figure out where. And I'm not going to force things, because if I try to force things, she's the type of person that fights back with everything and gets really nasty, and it's not worth it to have my son go through that. So, but anyway, so after that airport drop off, I said, you got a week to do whatever you want, Travis. Just go get fucked up, because this pain is killing me. And that week turned into 4 years.
Jesus Christ.
Just one little thing after another.
Man.
Went worse and worse and worse. But I did kick the painkillers.
So starting meth
Yeah.
Took care of that.
Yeah. I don't recommend that being a course of action.
So that
for
was pretty
anybody.
much from that point on, though, that the painkillers weren't really a big deal.
Pretty much.
And that took care of the detox, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I had never had. Yeah, that was the thing. It was like I never had any withdrawals, and I had a new mask to wear, so anxiety.
Yeah, a different one.
It was really weird how that worked, but I just exchanged one monkey on my back for a bigger, nastier one that had sharper teeth.
Yeah,
But and here's something for people listening to this. How do you get out of an addiction? Because I didn't have any help, and I didn't know who to ask. I didn't know where to go.
Well, I mean, embarrassed. I mean, there's a
lot of that.
There's a ton of shame that goes with it.
That's
too. Of like,
why
fuck,
I do
man,
what I do.
I can't tell anyone. I can't.
We got to remove the taboo from it because people fuck up, man.
Dude, people fuck up a
and
lot.
It's okay
Yeah.
to fuck up. You just can't. It's not okay to continue to fuck up once you know that you're doing it.
Yeah, that's the tough one. Once we know that this is what it is, we can't pretend it isn't anymore.
Exactly. Well said.